Hey, I'm ChristopherJMUA and welcome back to my channel. Unless you've never been here, of course, then welcome. I'm very glad you've stopped by. Today is a super special day for me because I have never ever tried a Natasha Denona palette, and I've always wanted to, but they were always so expensive and like $129 for every palette. And we finally have a chance today to try her formula together. So if you want to see me review the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette, then stay exactly where you are, keep doing exactly what you're doing, and keep on watching. So if you guys don't remember, or if you're new to my channel, a few videos back, or a couple videos back actually, Mark and I went on a little trip. If you don't know Mark, he is my boyfriend. I will link up a video with him in it up here so you can check it out and get to know him a little bit. But he and I went on a little trip out of town, and he ended up surprising me by taking me to Sephora and getting me this Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. He knew that I always wanted to try the Natasha Denona formula, that it was something that I was always really excited about, and that she was a brand that I really wanted to give a shot, but we never really had the opportunity to because every other palette that she has, as far as I know anyway, is always minimum $129, and then you can bundle them for bigger savings but still higher price. And this is the first palette that I'm aware of that's a full-size palette that is around a normal price range, and it was $65, so comparatively half the price. The pan sizes are also a little bit smaller, so I think maybe half the product too, but I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't clock me. So far, I'm in love with the unit carton because it looks like a sunrise. It is like the color of a sunrise, and it's just so sleek and so pretty. It is definitely the epitome of what I think Natasha Denona is, style-wise. Now this is going to be a full eyeshadow review with live swatches and everything because I really want to get a feel for what her palette is and what her formula is, what it feels like, what it acts like, how it performs, and I want to get a really good vibe of it because I'm curious to know if the $129 palettes are actually worth $129, honestly. Because you know, when you see something like that, like an eyeshadow palette that is $129, I don't know why I keep saying that over and over again, but when you see that, there's just something in the back of your head that's like, is it worth it? Because you never really know until you try. And for me personally, I honestly think that maybe that kind of price tag makes me want it a little bit more, because I feel like if it costs more, maybe more money went into it, making the ingredients more expensive, meaning it's going to perform better and be better quality. That is not always the case. You can't always believe that, but it's a possibility. So, on NatashaDenona.com for the Sunrise palette, as I said, its price is $65, and the description states, inspired by the warm glow of a morning sunrise, this impeccable palette contains shades of warm, sunny yellows, crimson corals, earthy browns, and powerful pinks and fuchsias, all made to melt together in perfect harmony. The Sunrise palette is featuring 15 brand new shades, including Natasha Denona's iconic formulas, packed with the highest quality ingredients to create buttery soft shades that blend seamlessly to achieve vibrant, ultra pigmented, long-lasting looks. The iconic Duochrome's velvety mattes and sparkling metallic textures will elevate your senses and empower you to create your own radiant works of art. I mean, that description almost sounded like it cost $129. Okay, well let's go ahead and open this up, shall we? I'm definitely not gonna destroy this unit carton. Many people really don't care about packaging, and I don't for a lot of things, but this is gorgeous. Like, this plastic is just, or cardboard, whatever, it's just so beautiful. It's so shiny and metallic, and it's my first Natasha Denona palette. I have to save it. I'm going into this with a very open, happy mind, as you can tell. I'm expecting it to be good, and I'm gonna be really sad and disappointed if it's not. I'll shut up though, let's figure it out. The palette itself is right here. It is just as gorgeous as the unit carton, if not even more gorgeous. No, it is more gorgeous. Ugh. Sickening. It again is that just beautiful red-orange coral mix shade. I don't really know what to call the shade. I tried to make my background lights match this color, and I really couldn't quite get there because I couldn't figure out what color it was. Either way, it's really, really pretty. And if we open it up, this is what we are greeted with. Now this palette is beautiful. I really love these shades. These shades kind of call to me because I've always been a fan of the more warmer berry-ish tones. Now the orangey tones, not quite my jam, but that's half the palette. So the other half is my jam. So this is also going to give me the opportunity to kind of get a feel for some yellows and oranges and see how they work with the berry tones. And now that we see what the palette looks like open, I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in and we're gonna get started on swatching. Okay, here we go. Our first shade is Poppy. That's really pretty. Our next shade is Citrine. The next shade is Phlox. Then we have Awakening. And then the shade Laurel. Then we've got the shade Aster. The shade Glory. Then there's the shade Azalea. Then the shade Morgan. Then the shade Agate. Then we have the shade Clove. The shade Carnelian. The shade Jasper. The shade Morning. And the shade Dayspring. And that is the complete Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. And as I do with every eyeshadow palette review, I will insert photos of the swatches, one with flash here, and one without flash here. So you saw them for yourself, but in my opinion, those swatches were so beautiful. They were literally the epitome of a sunrise, and it made me so sad to have to run my fingers through every shade in this palette. But that's okay. There's not too much damage that's done. Speaking of damage to the palette, before I go into it and start destroying the shades, I'm gonna go ahead and start with my P. Louise base and put that on my eyes. Okay, my eyes are completely primed. Now I'm gonna go in with the shade Morgan. It's like a peachy, orangey tone. Really, it's just peach, honestly, but with kind of a little more yellow in it. And I'm gonna be using my Eco Tools large shadow brush because I'm really just going to be using it to set the base, so using a larger brush is perfect. And there's not a whole lot of kickback in the pan either. I don't even know if you'll be able to see it, but it didn't like dust up a lot and make clouds or anything. Maybe this brush was a little too big. My god, that went down so much more pigmented than I thought it was going to. I thought that was going to be like a light wash of color, so I'd be able to put it everywhere, but that was not a light wash of color. That was a lot of color. So that was immediately much more pigmented than I originally anticipated it being. Plus, this was the first time I've ever used this large shadow brush from Eco Tools, and it was much more dense than I thought it was gonna be. It picks up and holds a lot of pigment, so the moment I touch it down to my eye, it lets go of all of that pigment. So I think next time I'm gonna start with a little bit smaller of a brush, or at least not as dense of a brush. In fact, I don't really know what I'll use that brush for. Maybe if I was gonna set a base with translucent powder, maybe, then I would use that. I don't even know yet. Regardless, I'm gonna use my Morphe M513 brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade Citrine, the light pale sort of yellow kind of color, and I'm gonna blend out the edges of Morgan with this shade, so it should turn into like this soft orangey corally yellow. I'm hoping anyway, but we'll see. See, my goal here is to make some nice wearable daytime look for like school or work or I don't know. With it having the name the Sunrise palette, it just makes me feel like you should use it in the morning. You can use it whenever you want, of course. You don't have to just use it in the morning, but it makes me feel like it should be used in the morning, getting ready for things, like for the day. Just you wake up, you put on some coffee, you open your Sunrise palette, you get ready for your day. Doesn't it just sound like it's supposed to happen that way? I don't know, it might just be me. I feel like I've gotten Citrine applied and blended out enough for just my liking in general. Now I'm gonna take a clean Luxie 229 tapered blending brush and just go over the edges of both of these to kind of soften them a little bit more, blow them out just a tad, make them look a little more blended, and then go from there. I just really like that whole soft blended out look, where it's like a super smooth gradient and you have just no hard lines or anything. Ugh. These eyeshadows are blending like a dream. Now very quickly, I also went back in with that large shader brush from Eco Tools and took the shade Morgan again and just built that up in the crease yet again to bring back some of the pigmentation that I had lost while I was blending everything together. Now I'm gonna take my Morphe X Jeffree Star JS6 brush and I'm gonna go into the shade Jasper. It's that warmer terracotta, I wanna say. It's like a terracotta orange, I guess, if I had to give it a specific name. And I'm just gonna use this shade to deepen up my crease. I feel like this is definitely ending up in the soft, sunrisey realm of eyeshadow looks. So I'm definitely satisfied with keeping it going in that direction. I'm feeling the vibe of the palette and I'm enjoying the vibe of the palette. These shades just mix so beautifully. At this point, I think the crease has been deepened up about as much as I want it to be deepened up. Like I said before, I want it to be really sunrisey, just like the palette is called. Now on my Morphe M167 flat packing brush, I'm gonna take the shade Azalea right here in the middle. It's like a, I want to say it's kind of a coppery, pinky, purpley brown. If that sounds right, it doesn't, sorry. And I'm not going to spray my brush or anything. I'm just going in with the dry brush right on my eyes just to see what it looks like. I'm curious. Okay, it's very pretty, and it definitely does have some purple in it. Actually, now that it's on my eye, I can't really see the other color. I only see the purple. I don't understand that. Maybe after I build it up some more, I'll be able to tell. Because in the pan, that looks, oh, well, that looks like a pinky purple, but that looks like an orangey tan brown bronze. Pinky purple, orangey tan brown bronze. That's really funny that I legitimately thought I was putting one color on my eye and then turns out I wasn't. I just thought I was. And for not spraying the brush or anything or putting it on with my finger, this shadow is performing very nicely. It's going on shimmery and opaque and pigmented and very metallic. Now keep in mind that I started with my eye makeup so that I didn't have to tap off the excess from my brush when I used shimmers. So that's something you'll have to think about if you're using this palette after you've put on your foundation. Because if you have already put on your foundation, then you will have to worry about fallout. So you will have to tap off the excess from the brush, meaning you won't have as much pigment on the brush. And you know, I've got to say, even for not tapping off the brush, I really don't have that much fallout. I can see some right underneath my eyes, but considering I've used about 4 shades now, and I only have fallout from one of them, that's really not that bad. I really, really like this shade though, because I can be looking at you, and on this side, it looks orangey brown, and on this side, it looks purple. And I'm kind of in love with it. Yeah, that's really, really neat. Okay, now Azalea is all over the lid. Now I'm gonna take my Luxie 245 small shader brush, and this time I'm gonna go into the shade Awakening. This one is also like a purple duochrome type shade, but it has more of, I guess, like a champagne-y pinky tone instead that turns into the purple. Maybe you can still see it like that. So there's the purpley pink. Yeah, you can. Okay. And there's like the tan, bronzy kind of pink color. I love how this palette transforms like that. That is so cool. Anyway, I'm gonna take that shade right toward my inner corner on my lid still and kind of make that an inner corner highlight, but mainly just right here on the inner corner. It's more so going on my inner lid than it is my inner corner, but that's still technically the inner corner of my lid. I'm literally in love with this palette so far. Like, I'm gonna marry it, I think. No, maybe not, because I'm married to the Blue Blood palette and this would be an affair, so I don't wanna have an affair. But this could be like my warm-toned sideman. But seriously, this is a truly beautiful palette and it's performing so well. I'm really satisfied with it and I'm really happy. Anyway, I am going to go ahead and go off camera, and I'm gonna clean up around the edges of my eyes and go ahead and finish my base makeup, and I will come back and we will finish just the remainder of using the eyeshadow on my lower lash line just to finish off the look completely, and then I'll give my final thoughts, which I'm sure you might already know, on the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. And we're back! I've completed my full face of makeup now. I made a little wing on the side. I thought she was kind of cute. Not a big one this time, but just a little one. Went ahead and put on lashes and some lipstick. I ended up using Jefa Cosmetics for the lip liner and the lipstick. The lip liner is in the shade Androgyny, and the lipstick is in the shade Scorpio. Love this lip shade, by the way. But enough about this lip shade. Now let's finish talking about the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. So what you don't know, but you do now because I'm about to tell you, is it's actually the day after the previous part of this video, if that made sense. Everything from the previous part of this video, from right before this point back, was yesterday. I actually finished the eye look and I was tired and I needed to go to bed, so I did go to bed. And then I woke up and then I put it back on and finished it and picked up where I left off. So I've technically had 2 days to use this eyeshadow palette and really get a feel for the formula and what I like or dislike about it. But before I tell you those things, I need to finish my eyes. Now the only thing I did differently than previously is I added just a little bit of my Ofra Rodeo Drive highlighter into my inner corner. It wasn't very much, just enough to add a little bit of pop and shine, but that was it. And now using this Cosmetics flat brush, I'm going to go into the shade Agate. It's almost like a neutral champagne peachy tan sort of shade, and I'm gonna apply this to my brow bone. I feel like this is one of those perfect brow bone shades. Maybe. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Why does Agate remind me of Rodeo Drive? It looks almost like the same shade, I feel like. This eye look is so beautiful to me. I'm loving these colors together because they do legitimately look like a sunrise to me. I just love this. Now I'm gonna try a little something on the bottom lash line. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, and I'm really hoping I don't destroy the whole look by doing this, but I thought it would be fun. So I'm gonna take some of the shade Glory. It is this intense berry pinky purple onto my Cosmetics flat brush, and I'm going to stamp this along my lower lash line. See, this is what scares me. I like trying the new things, like just trying stuff that I wouldn't normally try just to see if it's gonna work, because worst case it doesn't. It's just makeup, I can take it off again. But anyway, there's still that chance that it's gonna fail and look bad, and especially after you do so much work to make it look right and good, you don't want it to mess up. But it is so worth doing the things that you would never think to do just to try, because that's how you learn. That's how you learn and that's how you grow, and I love it. Okay, Glory is applied all along the lower lash line, very tightly. Now that I have Glory applied completely on my lower lash line, I'm gonna go in with a fluffier flat brush like this, and I'm gonna go into the shade Carnelian. It's more of a warmer, like sunny orange, and I'm gonna use that to try and smoke out this purple shade. Yay! That did exactly what I wanted it to do, and it looks so good! It's just blown out with that little bit of yellow, but it still has that deeper intensity right by the lash line. It's so perfect. And if you hear this fly that is buzzing around in this room, I am so sorry. Trust me, you're not the only one it's bothering. Okay guys, that is it for the eyeshadow part. Now I want to go in with a little bit of eyeliner. I'm going to use the LA Girl Shockwave Neon Liner. This one is in the shade Screamin', or GP737. In other words, it's neon yellow. And I think this is going to be a perfect addition to this look. Okay guys, and this is the final look. So what do we think? I think I really like it. I think the color story in this palette is one of absolute beauty, because to me, it covers every color that you would probably see in a sunrise. It has everything from the deeper red orange that you might see, to the plummy purples that you might see, to the super clean clear white yellows. I feel like you could create almost any variation of a sunrise that you wanted to, which definitely follows suit with the name of the palette. It does make me want to explore more of her palettes just to see what kind of other variations she has in her line and formula that might have similar themes like this. Like, I know there's also the Sunset palette, and I would assume that's everything for sunset. So I think it would be interesting to see the full range and see maybe what other palettes there might be and try them out sometime as well. But for now, the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette is a definite recommend from me. However, it's only because this palette is $65 and not $129. Currently, with the performance of the shadows that I used, and with the look I made, and with the way the shadows performed on my lid with my blending, in my own opinion, I would not pay $129 for a palette that had these same shades in it that was a bigger pan size, which I'm assuming is the only difference in the $129 palettes versus this palette. I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure. I just don't know that I could bring myself to pay that much money for an eyeshadow palette unless there was something about it that just made it worth that. I mean, if you tell me that you got some of the ingredients in your powder from a Mayan temple from 1600 BC inside of a tomb in a gold casket inside of a secret message that led behind a trap door with a living dead mummy guard that you had to burn to get past, and a burning lake of magma with stepping stones that you had to hop on to get to the ingredients that you put in this formula, then I might pay $129 for the palette. Before trying it, I probably would have paid $129 for her palette, strictly because it was a Natasha Denona palette, and that's like a staple. It's like iconic. It's great, don't get me wrong, it's wonderful, but I know a lot of great and wonderful palettes that don't cost that much. But no shade, Natasha. If you think that your product is worth $129, then by God, you price it at $129. If that is what you feel like you're worth, then you charge that much. And that goes for any of you. If you feel like you're expensive, then you charge like you're expensive. But with all of that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It means the world to me, I hope you know that. And if you like this look, and more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. My username is the same for everything. It is simply ChristopherJMUA. And if you gain nothing from coming to my channel, if you gain nothing from watching any of my videos, please at least gain this, and that is to always remember and never forget that you are absolutely beautiful. Bye guys. I do really love this palette though.